Hey, and welcome to another video. I'm Marty, and today I want to take a look at a very nice plugin, which is from Waves. It's called the Smack Deck, and it's basically a transient designer. And transient designer plugins and also hardware is great for getting a little bit more punch, a little bit more snap to certain elements, especially on drums, percussive instruments. Can also work great on an acoustic guitar, for example. So, and where I'm gonna use the plugin today is on a snare drum. You got a mix going on here, and it sounds quite nice actually, but it lacks a little bit of definition. It doesn't cut through the mix as I want it. So even though I used parallel compression on the desk with a hardware compressor, and I also used EQ on the desk and also with a plugin, it doesn't cut through the mix as I wanted to. So a transient designer, in that case the Smack Deck, can really work great here. So let's have a look at the plugin. And as you can see, we've got actually quite some features, but it's actually very easy to use. So first of all, on top of here, we got a screen where you can see the waveform. Let's play a little bit. All right, so the blue one is the waveform. This yellow line is then the gain change when we adjust the attack and the sustain. You're gonna see it later on. Then the first feature here, this knob, is the attack level. It sets boost or reduction of a process transient, so you can reduce it and boost it, of course. And then we got also a sensitivity for that, which sets actually the threshold for the detection of the attack. Same goes for the sustain level here, the yellow one. And this sets the gain of the sustain processing, right? And we got also sustain sensitivity, and this sets the threshold again for the sustain detection. Then below the attack, we got three different waveforms here, which sets the shape of it. And the first two, the spiky ones, as I would say, are really best suited for percussive instruments, drums and percussion elements like snare, kick drum, overheads and so forth, as well as shaker, works really great for that, or tambourine. And the third one is intended actually for other instruments. It's a little softer. And you got also a duration setting, which sets the length of the attack. And the same goes here for the sustain. Got three different waveforms, so the shape of it. As you can see, we got a little bit of a rounder curve on the sustain. And for example, this one is kind of like a linear sustain at the end. And we got also a duration, which again sets the length of the sustain. Then we got also a mix knob, dry and wet, where you can do a little bit of a parallel mixing, for example. So you can blend it in with your original signal. We got output knob, and we got also in this section here a limiter, which is named here guard. So you can set it to limit, clip, or off. Limit and clip has a fixed ceiling of negative 0.1 dBFS. Clip, there is, I think, a little bit of a saturation or distortion to it. So depends where you want to use it, or you can set it, of course, to off. All right, so those are the basic features. So let's listen just, I'm gonna play the snare drum. So let's solo maybe just the snare drum here and listen to it. We gotta engage it now. So let's really overdo it. Of course, we are clipping now. Okay, so that's the attack. And let's see what the sustain is doing. So this really brings out especially the room, where you can really kind of like gate it a little bit. This is actually what we are trying to do later on. Let's also see the different shapes. Increase the duration a little bit. So you can see those two are much snappier than the third one. right? Same for the sustain. Grease it. Sensitivity all the way up. This one you can blend it. So that's without it. Let's bring it in. Of course, you can set it also to limit. It's got now some gain reduction here. Clip it. Okay. So of course what I did beforehand is I played a little bit around with it and I came up with a setting. So let's paste it. I used a little bit of an increased attack here of 22. Sensitivity not all the way up, so just right about in the middle, a little bit to the right. And I reduced the sustain quite a bit. And what this actually is doing, as I said before, and it acts kind of like a little bit of a gated sound. But this brings actually the punch and also the snap of the snare drum a little bit more forward, and you can hear it later on in the mix. I'm going to play it, of course, in the mix then. I used the second setting of the attack shape here and the first one of the sustain in fully wet mode. And I also used a limiter here just for the case it clips somewhere. All right, so let's play it. So as you can hear, it sounds a little bit gated without it. Doesn't sound that natural anymore, but of course, as we don't listen to drums or especially snare drums in a mix to solo, we want to hear it how it sounds on a full drum kit. So let's unmute all those. Again, first without. And with. Okay, and now you can really hear it in the mix, so I'm gonna unmute all the other tracks. First without. Of course, if you overdo it, depends how much of kind of like a snap you want in there. Sounds a little bit lost here when we engage it. That will be quite a bit too much, so let's bring it back. Maybe somewhere here. Okay. All right, so as you can hear, snare drum has quite a bit more punch and has really a snap to it. It really cuts through the mix now. So it's a very easy to use, very convenient plug-in smack attack from Waves, and really can recommend that. So check it out. There's also a trial version on the Waves website. I have it in the description below. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, I also use this on percussive instruments like shaker or tambourine, but you also can use it, for example, on certain instruments like acoustic guitar, for example. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more videos like that in the future. I'm Marty, And as always, happy recordings and mixing. See you in the next video.